In 2016, 40,000 people died on U.S. roadways. 94% of those automobile accidents are attributable to human error. Globally, 30,000 people die each week in accidents related to motor vehicles. When you think about the benefits of artificial intelligence improving driver safety, one has to think that the future of the automotive industry has to embrace concepts like artificial intelligence as we develop a much better and safer system of transportation. My name is Mike Nelson, and I'm with Eversheds Sutherland in its New York office, and I work on autonomous vehicle related issues.
My name's Charlotte Walker-Osborn. I'm a technology and outsourcing lawyer, and I help both technology suppliers and auto manufacturers in the connected and autonomous space.
One of the concepts about machine learning that is difficult to grapple with from the standpoint of legal risks and conducting business in a regulated space is the concept that machines are going to have to interact with human beings in order to keep learning and adjust to bring about even greater safety levels. But that also requires that the human being is going to be operating vehicles that aren't really completely developed yet, and systems that are just being developed and brought to the marketplace as part of the learning process. That, of course, raises issues such as informed consent and whether or not consumers really understand what they're agreeing to as they start to operate vehicles like this. I've heard you talk about your practice as helping companies future-proof these interesting dynamics. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
Sure. Yeah, I think wherever a company is in the ecosystem, whether they are the auto manufacturer, one of the technology suppliers, or maybe one of the intermediaries, it's really important that there is legal compliance throughout, and it gets very complicated on a multi-country deal with the vast amounts of different laws that are relevant here. For example, the kind of intellectual property laws, the data laws, the kind of legal liability elements. So actually where we're helping is really help them understand what their obligations are and making sure that's fairly documented in the contract. I think you've mentioned consent. Consent is obviously really, really key. The customer user needs to know what they're buying, they need to know their rights, they need to know where the data is going and where it's being used, and there's a whole plethora of laws behind that everyone in the chain needs to kind of work on together. They need to agree where the data flows can happen, and then that needs to be translated into the kind of customer user documentation. So we're helping a lot with that at the moment. It's getting more complicated. There's a lot of new laws coming in the next few years. We're already beginning to see new laws around autonomous and connected vehicles specifically. There's a lot of talk about the need for new laws around AI, particularly the intellectual property, but also the liability side. And data, there's lots of laws already coming in. For example, in the EU, a new data protection law coming in next year. So actually a lot of that is known now. We know what's coming, and we're helping our clients put those into the deals and the contracts. But there's going to be a lot of change, so we need to keep them up to date. They need to be up to date. And the way we try to handle that kind of future-proofing is to say, let's have a fair governance process in the contract, let's have a good change process, and let's think about how we'll allocate costs for those future changes and really work on it as a win-win together.
Makes sense.
So if you'd like to hear more about this, do contact Mike or myself, or for more content you can visit eversheds-sutherland.com.